How many of you are familiar with the Stanford Marshmallow test? This was a test conducted around sort of discovering more about willpower and what willpower is. Mind you, when this test was established, it was willpower was sort of tied in with morality, that if you were a moral person, you had willpower, and if you didn't have willpower, then that was an indication of lack of morality. Now, the test established actually a separation between morality and willpower, because what they did is they took 3 to 5 year olds, really, children who aren't really capable of the, let's say, reasoning and mental process behind morality. Morality isn't something that is part of their everyday world. And in fact, oftentimes at that age, you're learning the rules of morality, much less being able to practice morality. So the test went like this, basically. They would bring out a tray of sweets, marshmallows and candies and cookies, and they would let the child pick one out. And then they would tell the child that they were going to leave the room, but if they could just wait 5 minutes until they arrived back, that they would give them another marshmallow. So in other words, if they did not consume the first sweet, the first cookie, the first marshmallow in the time that the adult was gone, when the adult arrived, if that marshmallow, sweet, or whatever it was still there, then they would receive another one. And first they would ask, do you want to do this? And though most of the children, not all of them, had agreed to do it. So some of the children didn't even attempt. They said, no, I just want to eat this and move on. And I actually have to respect them for that. But others said, yes, I'd like to do it. There was, I don't remember the number, but a majority of the children could not wait the 5 minutes. A majority of the children ate the marshmallow, the candy, the sweet. There was a smaller percentage, I believe about a third of them, that were able to wait. And so they sort of established this idea that even when children or people wanted to and had a reason to resist the temptation, they would still succumb to it. So again, this wasn't an issue of morality. It was more of an issue of willpower and how that willpower was exercised. In my opinion, the most interesting aspect of the experiment was what the children did who didn't eat the marshmallow. The children who didn't eat the sweet or didn't eat the candy, didn't eat the cookie. Those children, the way that they were able to resist, the strategy that they used was they took their eye off the candy. They took their attention away from the sweet. They didn't focus on the marshmallow. They would look away and sing. They put their head down on the table. They played with their shoelaces. They did something else other than transfix or focus on the marshmallow or the sweet. And mind you, the ones who gave in were the ones who could not keep their eyes off the marshmallow. They're the ones who could not quit focusing on the sweet. They're the ones who really, really wanted the sweet, and it kept coming into their mind as something that they had to have. So this is really the idea behind willpower. And when you have to, let's say, withhold gratification, when you have to sort of put gratification off for a greater cause or a greater gratification. And the technique, or the best technique to use, is what these children did. They did not focus on the particular candy. And when you don't focus on the particular problem or issue that you have, when you can take your mind, let me put it another way. When we have a problem, an issue, we have some kind of, let's say, conflict that's hard for us to keep our mind off of it. It seems like it's really like a tongue going to a broken tooth. Our mind keeps coming back to it. The exercise is about taking the mind back off of it. The application is taking your attention away from what you're obsessing over, away from the gratification that you could receive, and putting it towards something that will allow you to distract yourself. I had a good friend of mine, this is a few decades ago, who had lost a son to cancer, and he went to work immediately. And I asked him, Lenny, well, how could you do this? I mean, I know this has destroyed you, but yet, it's a week later and you're back at work. And he's like, well, Matt, the alternative is for me to sit at home and think about it. And I'd rather be at work and take my mind off of it so that I don't have to do that. Now, everybody deals with grieving in their own way, but Lenny had figured out what the children had figured out. Don't focus on it. Take your mind and apply it to something else. This is so crucial in the development of ourselves. There are so many temptations that we run across. And temptations aren't always like something that is about like, oh, a marshmallow. I know, I've explained in previous videos that when I was a young man, I was an angry man and I was addicted to anger. So the temptation was the expression of anger for me. And so I had to start to be able to withhold the, let's say, emotional satisfaction or the feeling gratification that anger would give me, so I could actually take a look at and see other sides of myself, focus on these other sides of myself. Sometimes it was just focusing on the body. When I started to feel like I was going to be angry, I would like, okay, take your mind off of it. And where in your body are you feeling tension right now? Or I would take my attention and put it towards my breath. I would feel my breath at the tip of my nose coming in and out, in and out. So instead of focusing on what was making me angry, instead of focusing on the emotion, I focused on a physiological activity, on breathing. And again, I would feel the breath coming in and out of my nose. And being able to take those moments would have normally been, let's say, moments of gratification because I would get angry, and whether I realized it or not, I was addicted to anger and I like to feel angry. And I think I've explained in previous videos that for me at that time, anger is what made the inadequacy go away. So there was inadvertently or in a weird way, there was a satisfaction out of me feeling anger. And when I was able to take my focus away from the anger and be able to sort of think in a more clear way as my breath was going in and out of my nose, oftentimes I was able to see really there was nothing to be angry about, that I was choosing to be angry, that no one was making me angry. So this is really the idea I want to share. I want to share this idea that when we want to obsess on something, particularly something that's detrimental to our goals or detrimental to our well-being, something that is emotionally distraught, something that has made us feel at, some sort of unease, it's very difficult not to want to think about it, not to want to obsess over it. Sort of like, again, a tongue going to a broken tooth. But like those children that were successful, if we can take our attention and apply it somewhere else, then the gratification that we're looking for, the goal that we're wanting to achieve, what we're moving towards, becomes easier to reach. Remember, we're all stuck in the matrix, and it's your job to find your way out. I hope what we share helps. Have a great week, everyone.